And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is going to be Wampa in Arena. Now, he's not all maxed out. He's not at 7 stars. He doesn't have any of his Zetas. In fact, I don't even have his basic Omega'd. I'm just out of that material. When you go to the basic, you can see I only have 3. And I probably shouldn't have even done Icebreaker or Howling Rage yet because I didn't have enough to do it all. But I just excited like a lot of people. I was going for Yoda passively, and then when Wampa came out, I aggressively went after Wampa. But of course, I was spending all of my resources on Gear 12 pieces. Well, I want to see how Wampa does in Arena, specifically in the composition that I use. Now, this is why I want to use him in my Arena team. Is just his basic because it's going to deal physical damage, obviously, and inflict damage over time for 2 turns. But it says if the target was exposed, stun them. So what I'm looking at doing is putting him in my Jedi training Rey's team because there's a lot of expose, so there's going to be a lot of characters with expose across the way, and he's pretty durable. He puts, you know, protection up on himself, and so because of that, there's a really good chance he could become a stunner. He's going to be able to stun the opposing team, and that slows the opposing team down. It's just another theory I'm going to try. Obviously, if he had 2 Zetas, his extra Omega, and a 7th star plus Gear 12, this would make a huge difference. Again, I just want to use him where I have him and kind of get an idea, engage as to whether he's going to be a possibility. Now, the big question on everyone's mind is how are you going to mod him? Now, there's 2 thought processes with him because he is a damage dealer, is going to be critical chance and critical damage, or basically offense. Now, critical chance and critical damage. Critical chance he's going to boost on himself, but you do want his base critical chance high enough that on his first couple of attacks that he's going to actually crit as well, potentially, and then he will go ahead and give himself those guaranteed crits later on. But you want the critical chance, in my opinion, over 40%. In addition, the critical damage piece isn't going to be modified. Once it's set, it's a percentage of the damage that he's applying. He will boost his own offense in a couple of ways, but you want that base offense that he is going to modify. You know, he gives himself plus 50% offense and things like that. You want that base offense to be as high as possible, so that way when he modifies his offensive stats, it modifies a greater number. So it's a percentage thing. So my opinion, this is just Warrior's opinion, is to go offense, not critical damage. So you can see I used a speed arrow. I think that makes perfect sense. I don't think anyone that would disagree with that. Over here, I'm using critical chance. This was because his critical chance rate without his second special ability is actually terrible. It's in the low 30s, and so it's really important to make sure that, like I said, you get it over that 40% threshold for the first couple of turns before he actually gets to that point, because he is going to be targeted and a lot of people will be hitting him, and so you want him to get as much as possible. Now, this is a terrible mod in my opinion because it does not have any speed secondaries. This is one slot that should have, you know, 10 plus speed secondary, but I'm using what I have. You can see to the left, I just don't have a lot of mods available. So obviously, optimally, you'd want speed secondary. I also ran with a potency set because he does apply a couple of debuffs. And one of the debuffs, it can't be evaded, but it can be resisted. And so it's going to go through a potency tenacity check. And so you do want to make sure that you have your potency high enough that you can apply it. Really, your goal with any of your PvP tunes is going to be between 60 to 80% potency to make sure that you can get a consistent laydown of those debuffs. Now, he does regenerate a ton of protection. So I use this, which gives him plus 23.5% protection. It had additional critical chance as a secondary, which was really important for him, some offense and some speed, so this was really built for him. I just wish the 5 speed was higher. And of course, the other one is as well protection with some good speed, a little bit of health and defense, and some additional potency for him. Of course, this one has some additional protection, some health and speed, and this one had some secondary protection, health, and speed. So you can kind of get the gist. Basically, health, protection, speed, potency, critical chance, critical damage. These are all the things that would make him tick. Now, the overall stats you can see, again, he is a man in the works, but I've got about 42,000 protection, almost 28,000 health. Combined, you're going to get about 70,000. So that's not too bad And then speed, I'm almost at 200 speed. My goal for him would really be 220 plus speed, especially for the raids. But I'm going to take this just as the initial push. Didn't mess with his critical damage. I have his potency at about almost 57%. That's a little lower than I would like it to be. And then his physical damage, I got it up over 3,000. That's the number that's going to end up being modified when he gives himself an extra plus 50% offense and things as such. So keep that in mind. And then his armor, I was able to get it over 30%, which is basically around the same as the new Admiral Holdo. So okay, now a really good team to kind of test this on is going to be the Tide team, the team that I had put a video out on previously, which Jerry EE in the middle has, and he's running. And this is a really stout defensive team, and so I'm going to go ahead and see how we can do against that team. Now we are going to take out Old Ben and put in the Wampa. Now, a lot of people would say, why not leave Old Ben? Because he's got the mind tricks, the ability block. You've got him Zeta'd. He's gonna, if he dies, you know, he boosts the whole team. There's a lot of argument for Old Ben, and I will also probably try it that way as well. But General Kenobi brings a cleanse, and you really want this team cleaned off often. He can bring retribution, which is excellent, which may give, in fact, more turns to the Wampa with his attacks. And the critical hit immunity just brings about a durability. Plus, he has a very disruptive taunt, and he's really there just to make sure the rest of the team can do what it is they're trying to accomplish. All right, their other team was faster. I know a lot of the teams on my leaderboard are, in fact, faster, and that's okay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to ability block Jedi Training Ray, hopefully. And then we're going to stealth everybody and make them target my General Kenobi. And we're going to go ahead and try to triple mollywop. We're going to miss the first shot, obviously, because he has foresight. We're going to target BB-8, so that way we'll get 2 hits. And we got the stun. They use their mind tricks. The good news is it didn't apply to General Kenobi, so he can cleanse everybody off. So much foresight. We are going to go ahead and use his special. Now again, it's going to cleanse those 2 debuffs because he has an expose and that burn on top of him. And then he's also going to get that protection up. This is going to make him more durable. And then of course this can't be dispelled or prevented. So they can't stop him from getting this protection up. And the daze is going to help as well as far as preventing them from calling assists. And that's important because Jedi Ray, across the way, does call an assist, as well as possibly General Kenobi with his. Now we're going to go ahead and burn. And we'll do a mass attack. Now, a lot of people will use the swipe on this. He's stunned. There's no reason that any of his buffs need to come off. I'm going to save that. I'm just going to use her basic. Again, we're going to stealth everyone and make them target my General Kenobi. We're going to go ahead and hit their General Kenobi. Now, their Old Ben has taunted. We're going to go ahead and burn. The good news is his taunt only lasts for 1 turn, so we're going to swipe it, and he has it Zeta'd, so it's going to come off, and then a new taunt is going to come on, and that's okay, because he's only going to have this now for a turn. We're going to use basic, obviously. That was 22k, and that was the first time he got to use his basic, so pretty amazing. Now, if he didn't crit, you know, it's going to be far less. And so this is why I say critical chance is actually really important early on. Yes, he'll put his own critical chance up using his special, but remember that you want him to be able to hit hard right off the bat because people will be targeting him. We're going to go ahead now, and we still have to go after their Old Ben. Everybody else hasn't really been targeted yet, so it's okay if I kill their Old Ben. It gives them a little bit of a boost. However, if you look, I have virtually all health and protection, so this is not a big deal for me. Let's go ahead and use a basic. And remember, could not be evaded. And what's really cool, even though she had foresight, it went right through it. Plus, it stunned her because of the expose. And so this is the combination I was hoping for. That was the ability to apply a stun if they had an expose. This is going to give an advantage over other Jedi Training Ray teams. We'll burn the other team. We'll just keep working on Jedi Training Ray. And now we'll go to R2-D2. He'll be the next priority. We're going to go ahead and swipe, which ability blocks. We'll keep letting them attack my General Kenobi. Now keep in mind, my Wampa 6-star with no Zetas, and the basic isn't even Omega'd. Here's his basic. Bam! That's phenomenal. And it's over. Now, a lot of people would say that took 4 minutes, but of course I was doing analysis during it, and I know a lot of people that said, hey, Warrior, we come to your channel for knowledge and education. We don't come to listen to music, so I sometimes put on music, but this time I wanted to make sure that we talked through the battle so you can see what it is I'm doing, why, and the thought processes behind all of this. I'd like to do another battle. Now, curiosity gets the best of me. I was just curious how it would do against the Night Sisters team. The double tank is very popular right now. We're going to go ahead when you're going against Night Sisters, and you're going to skip stealthing everyone. It's just pointless. There's no reason to stealth because Asajj is just going to take it away, and you want to do as much damage as fast as possible. You also want to get rid of the taunt. And now we have to get rid of General Kenobi. I won't be able to give anybody retribution up because of the plague, so I'm just going to do my mass attack and get a couple of people to attack. And let's go ahead. This is going to prevent all of the calls to assist when you put days up. So this is going to help against the Night Sisters. And the countering is really critical. And again, the whole point of this is just to get rid of the other team as fast as possible, because that plague is going to completely destroy your team if you allow it to. And there you go. Now that was a pretty sad victory, if I do say so myself. Everybody was pretty crippled, but Night Sisters are definitely difficult. I will say that the countering from the Wampa helps because he's able to do a massive amount of damage when they attack him, and he's also able to apply the daze, which really helps with all of their mass attacks that they provide. So anyway, I hope this was a little bit of fun. I hope this helps you understand how you would mod the Wampa and what he brings to the new Jedi Training Ray team. We'll see how he plays out. I am excited to use him in the raids, but obviously we do heroic and you have to have him 7 stars. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and keep it gaming on. Warrior, out.